moving ourselves into having railway to go all the way across the southern two-thirds, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean in Africa.
That was Joe Biden yesterday. The Indian Prime Minister was in town. This time the railroad is going to run across the Atlantic Ocean. He's got this in his head, and he can't get it out. We're going to have to use like a bench drill, I think. Because, was it just last week? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. He was talking about building a railroad across the Pacific Ocean and then the Indian Ocean. Then yesterday he talked about building a railroad across the Atlantic Ocean. Does he think he's an innovator or something like that? Does he? You know, Dwight Eisenhower built the interstate highway system. That was quite an accomplishment. Couldn't do that again. But Joe Biden, I guess it was just last week, talking about running a railroad across the Pacific Ocean and then the Indian Ocean, have to run across some Asian landmass before then crossing the Indian Ocean.
We're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script. I'm going to get in trouble.
He could go on, but he won't. He's going off script. He's going to get in trouble. With whom? We don't really know. Apparently Xi Jinping, I think. Xi Jinping, a ricochet rabbit. And, of course, Joe Biden insulted. He called him a dictator the other day, which is what he is, naturally. Xi Jinping, he's a communist, and he's a communist leader, therefore he's a dictator. Not all communists are dictators, just all communist leaders are dictators, see. But that was Joe Biden. He's the President of the United States, leader of the free world, and apparently our chief engineer. He's our chief engineer. He's the EIC, the engineer in charge. That's what they call him, the TV business and the radio business. The EIC, the engineer. And he's going to build and then when he builds it, he's going to be the engineer and driving the train, I think. Woo, woo, he's Choo-Choo Charlie. He's going to get one of those blue and white striped hats and drive the train across the Pacific Ocean and then the Indian Ocean. Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean in the world. And then he's going to build, because he just told us yesterday, another railroad across the Atlantic Ocean, and then it's going to go through Africa, across Africa. Did he say Angola? Is that what he said? And then again, the Indian Ocean. He's got this whole thing about building railroads across oceans.
Moving ourselves into having railway to go all the way across the southern two-thirds, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean in Africa.
That actually makes a little bit of sense if you give him the benefit of the doubt. A railroad across Africa, it's a continent, and in case Democrats are listening, there are 7 of them, 7 continents, and Africa is one. A railroad from the Atlantic Ocean across Africa to the Indian Ocean. See, that actually makes sense. Now, why you would want to do that, nobody knows, because, they could do that if they wanted to, and they haven't. So, everything, really, almost everything of import after the pyramids in Africa was built by the colonial powers. The buildings that everybody's proud of, and to the extent that there are railroads, the British and the other Europeans built those things in Africa. But let's not go down that road, because that's true. And, nothing gets you in trouble like the truth. Womp, womp, womp. Look, it's true in Western Europe as well. All the great buildings of Western Europe were built by the monarchs. You have La Louvre. It's a big art museum. That was a palace, built by the kings and queens. And go country after country. And in England, you got your Buckingham Palace and got all the museums of Europe and so on, all built by the monarchs. And once the monarchies fell, then you get, some apartment buildings and stuff. But that's really about it. That's just true. I say it out loud. All right, let's go to the next crazy story, because I am sad. I was talking about the Des Moines, Iowa weatherman who's leaving because he's got PTSD because somebody sent him a few mean emails. And the guy was arrested, and then he was fined $105 And I'm marveling at this, that the mean email, a guy made fun of him and took a shot at him, and he shouldn't have. It's a stupid thing to do, to send a mean email. But and it's like, oh, I was harassed. I got a threat. And they used obscenities. You got threat and harassment and obscenities. And in Iowa, in New York, they have a different standard. But in Des Moines, Iowa, here's the email. You are a worthless Biden puppet, a liar, a conspiracy theorist, and an idiot. 3 exclamation marks. You give Iowa a bad name. And then in all caps, go home, B word, beep. That's it. One email read, and that's obviously the harshest one. And I said, oh my God, I'm being harassed. It's a threat. He used obscenities. Well, he used one, mild obscenity that they use on television all day long, but never mind that. So now he says he's got PTSD, and he can't stand this. He's been too traumatized by this. So he's not only leaving Des Moines, he's leaving the whole TV weather business. He's got to go do something else because of the PTSD. All right? Don't try police work. And don't try talk radio. All right, let's go to the Biden organized crime family, because there's a lot to talk about there. Yesterday there was an event, a press conference on Capitol Hill, and the committee that has been dealing with whistleblowers from the Internal Revenue Service has made public testimony from 2 IRS whistleblowers who were senior criminal investigators at the Internal Revenue Service, and they went to Congress because they wanted to blow the whistle on the corrupt Justice Department run by Joe Biden and Merrick Garland, right? So here's the story from Red State. The Washington Post has the story on page 15 today, and they included some of the information, but they went out of their way to bury the story. There is no doubt about that. Hunter Biden claims Joe was in the room while he threatened Chinese official to pay up or else. And then the Department of Justice sunk the investigation. Now, I have a number of stories here. The IRS agent told Congress of Hunter Biden invoking his father's name in a business deal, and Hunter Biden demanded cash from Chinese business partner, and on and on. Now, let me go first to Congressman Jason Smith, because he was the lead voice on this yesterday, and honestly, I think he's done a good job. He's stepped up. They've got the goods. They made elements of the testimony public in print, and they even brought the foam core boards out and put them on an easel. And this is what you need to do in this TV universe, but he did it. So here is Congressman Jason Smith, the head of the Ways and Means Committee, and he appeared last night on the Sean Hannity program to talk about what they are revealing about the Biden organized crime family.
The federal government has a 2-tiered justice system. They don't treat all taxpayers the same. Unfortunately, average Americans aren't treated the same way that wealthy and the politically connected, especially if your last name's Biden. And we saw that with countless examples that they used how the Department of Justice intervened in the prosecution of Hunter Biden. They delayed, they divulged, and they denied numerous examples of where these investigators tried to go into further prosecution of Hunter Biden.
The investigators at the IRS wanted to go further into all of the Hunter Biden business dealings, the tax evasion. They wanted to file felony charges. They wanted to investigate more, and their efforts were thwarted, were crushed, were stymied in the end by Merrick Garland's Justice Department, the Joe Biden wingman. Remember when Barack Obama's Attorney General Eric H. Holder Jr. Said that he's Barack Obama's wingman, and the news media applauded, and they had to lick the spittle off of their chins. They were so excited by it. And then they attacked anybody that was a friend of Donald Trump in the Justice Department or anyplace else. I would like to point out that Congressman Jason Smith did say especially especially, which is not grammatically correct. But here he is. Nevertheless, Congressman Jason Smith of the Ways and Means Committee, last night, he held a press conference and he was on Sean Hannity. But here is Congressman Jason Smith telling the truth, which will get you in trouble in Washington, D.C. You know what I like to say? Nothing gets you in trouble like the truth.
There was a documented message on Hunter Biden's WhatsApp account that went to a Chinese business partner, like what you said, Sean, and it was pretty much demanding for that business partner to contact him in regards to future payment. And he highlighted that he is sitting right next to his father, waiting for his response. And that absolutely contradicts what President Biden has said on numerous occasions, that he knows nothing about his son Hunter Biden's business dealings.
Now, the WhatsApp communication that was made public yesterday by Congressman Jason Smith and the Ways and Means Committee, it's basically a text message on WhatsApp, a little telegram. Hunter Biden sent the message to Henry Zhao, Z-H-A-O, a Chinese businessman with very close ties to the Communist Party, July 30th of 2017. And Hunter Biden sent this message. He said, "I'm sitting here with my father." Now, this is while President Trump is in the White House, 2017, July of 2017. So Joe Biden he's left the vice president's residence, right? He's no longer vice president. He's now the former vice president, former senator, and future presidential candidate, and as it turns out, future president of the United States. So here's Hunter Biden strong-arming the Chinese millionaire, billionaire businessman with the Communist Party ties. This is no problem, by the way. He said, "I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. That is, why you haven't sent the money. Tell the director," they've got, the director of the Chinese Communist Party, "tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And Z," he calls him, and comma, Z, comma, "if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me, Joe Biden, and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father." This is a gun-to-the-head shakedown, all right? This is gangster stuff. This is Banana Republic. And the Washington Post and the New York Times, well, the Washington Post has it on page 15. They got it on page 15. We picked up our paper at the front door, said to my best girl, "Is it on the front page?" No, it's not on the front page. "Is it on page 2? No, keep leafing through. When you get to page 15, go to the bottom of page 15, and they're in black and white with an unremarkable headline and no pictures or anything, and no graphics of these statements from Hunter Biden. Just, a phony little story. There it is. So that is a shakedown. That is gun to the head. My father, the former vice president, longtime senator, future president of the United States, where's our money? That is just amazing. Man, oh man. Hey, listen, I've got breaking news there's a lot more on the Hunter Biden, a lot more on the corrupt Justice Department coming up. Breaking news for all my fellow Americans, Joe Biden's dangerous plan to force all of us Americans into the digital dollar goes live in a matter of weeks, no matter what they tell you. It's not something that will help you or me. If you don't take action today, it may be too late. The Federal Reserve is being deployed in phases, with the initial launch taking place in a matter of days. July 1st. It's called Fed Now, and a whole lot of us are going to be taken completely off guard. Everything you've worked for your whole life is at stake, but there is a way for Americans to legally opt out of the digital dollar before it's too late. Start by calling my friends at American Alternative Assets and get your free wealth protection guide. This guide will educate you on how you can protect yourself from a failing dollar, volatile stock markets with gold and silver IRAs. Call them at 888, the number 4, Gold 20. Call them at 888-446-5360. Don't let Joe Biden force you to use the government's new digital dollar. Call 888, the number 4, Gold 20. Call right now, 888-446-5360. Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own legal, tax, investment, and financial advice before opening an account. Yeah. You know this, imagine one of the Trump kids sending a text like this to a Chinese guy with Communist Party ties. You'd think that'd be on the front page, and there's a lot more coming right up. Hey, Chris here with some exciting news. Now you can listen to me live on the WMAL app. Doesn't matter if you're in your car, in the office, on the go. The WMAL app delivers crystal clear around-the-clock news coverage anywhere with cell service or Wi-Fi. So don't miss a second of your favorite shows. Download the WMAL app today on the Apple App Store or at Google Play Store. The big story this hour is the corrupt Biden family, the corrupt Justice Department, the corrupt Attorney General, the abuses of power on behalf of the Biden family, and honestly, this extraordinary text message that Hunter Biden sent to the Chinese national, threatening him. My dad is sitting right here, and if you don't, boy, I'm telling you, my ability to forever hold a grudge. You'll regret not following my direction. I'm sorry, who the hell are you? Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Michael calling from Reston, Virginia. He's driving. Been driving all night. His hands wet on the wheel. Michael, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
You mentioned earlier, Chris, the Biden diaries and the whole concept of I'm lying to my diary, which we seem to left do before. And then the self-destructive behavior of the Biden kids and everything. And when you read this a minute ago, I had not focused on that sentence that he says, my ability to forever hold a grudge. I'm sorry. I'm inclined to believe that applies to the behavior of Joe Biden as well. He's got to be holding a grudge. And this subconscious level, this could be the thing that drives a chink in the armor that finally gives us the ability, and for lack of a better term, the implosion of the submarine underneath the ocean with all of the pressure from all directions. If you make one weak spot, it collapses. And this could be the piece. This guy's using WhatsApp, which everybody was sold was absolutely military-grade technology that could not be penetrated, hacked, or anything else. How did it end up in a damn IRS investigation?
That's a fun and interesting question. And honestly, is Congress going to subpoena the president's son? Who else are they going to subpoena? The head of the IRS, the Attorney General? I hope so. Yeah, just very quickly before getting back to the Biden organized crime family and the corrupt Attorney General in the United States of America, a story out of Virginia, perjury acquittal for official in Loudoun County. After a student committed 2 sexual assaults in 2021, Byard, the spokesperson, was accused of lying. A high-ranking Loudoun County, Virginia school official was acquitted Thursday of lying to a special grand jury and paneled to investigate how the school system and school officials handled a pair of 2021 sexual assaults. You see, that caused political firestorm after it became enmeshed in the debate over transgender student rights. See, that's the Washington Post. They mentioned transgender student rights in the first paragraph. But then you have to go on and on and on in the story before you find that Loudoun County, the longtime spokesman Wade, W-A-Y-D-E, Byard, B-Y-A-R-D. He's got a Y in each of his two names. I wonder if he has a middle name with a Y in it. They found him not guilty of felony perjury. And so that's kind of interesting. Now, the school district's former superintendent, Scott Ziegler, faces charges related to the same incidents. Ziegler is scheduled to stand trial later this summer and denies wrongdoing, as you might imagine. Now, here's the story that you may remember. They contended that Byard, who was the spokesman for the school district, lied about when he learned of the first sexual assault at the Stone Bridge High School in March of 2021. In that instance, now listen to this, because see if you can tell what they leave out of the reporting. In that instance, a then 14-year-old student sexually assaulted a female classmate in a girl's bathroom. All right? And that's was then, you know what they did? While he was still facing that charge, in that incident, he was transferred to Broad Run High School. Now, here is now, and it's interesting that they say he, because they've just dead-horsed him or something like that, haven't they? They haven't dead-horsed him, but they haven't. They like to say dead name, and dead-horsing is a different thing altogether. That's what Bill Cosby did a lot of. Bill Cosby did a lot of that. But while he was still facing charges, he was just transferred to another high school, Broad Run High School, where they're calling him he, pulled another female classmate into an empty classroom. He choked her, and he groped her, and he sexually assaulted her in the second school. The teen was convicted in both incidents. Now, here's what they don't tell you, because they're the Washington Post, and they're filthy. They're filthy, dirty, corrupt people. And who typed this? Justin Juvenal. Juvenal? It's a Justin Juvenal delinquent. And here's the thing. This is a boy, a male, a young man who said, "I'm a lady now." So the school district told the guy with all of the guy equipment, "You should use the ladies' room." And then he goes to the ladies' room at the first high school and he sexually assaults a young girl, right? And then you may remember her father went to a school board meeting when he learned that his daughter was sexually assaulted, and they took the transgender, that is a young man dressing as a young woman, and they just moved him, and even the Washington Post is calling him, to another high school where he then sexually assaulted another young woman. And they didn't prevent that from happening and then the question became, well, what did you guys know and when did you know it, right? And the allegation is that he didn't tell the truth, Byard didn't tell the truth, and then we've got Ziegler coming up. Justice in America is becoming a more and more distant concept, isn't it? And the Democrats took the young man who said he was a young woman and said use the ladies' room, setting up the first incident. After the first incident, they said, oh, it's okay. We'll just move him and call him her to another high school where he can continue to pretend to be a lady when in reality he's a young man. Because that's the Democrat Party. They're mental. They're mental. And there were good people involved in trying to get justice for the families. Oh, yeah, the father of the first girl went to the school board meeting, and then he was attacked, right, and roughed up by the police. Yeah, because of the Democrats. Really wasn't so much the fault of the police as it was the fault of the Democrats. But this is the kind of world that the Democrats are building, the kind of country that the Democrats are building. Appalling. Just appalling. I am telling you. And I know, I believe, anyway, that a friend of mine, former prosecutor now, Theos Stamos, was involved in trying to get justice for the families here. But again, too many Democrats. And Loudoun County, a jury, I guess, less than 2 hours. They came back with a verdict. I'm telling you. All right, let's get back to Hunter Biden and the corrupt Biden family, because they're really something. Yes, they are. And Hunter Biden, and how many millions of dollars? The New York Times the other day said, oh, Hunter made $1.5 million in whatever, 2017, and $1.5 million in 2018. And then yesterday, the number became $2.2 million. And they said he owed $100,000 in taxes, which is about a 6 or 7% tax rate, which is what Joe Biden complains the rich people pay. You got to pay your fair share. But they don't believe that. Now, my friend Maureen, who comes from a very proud Marine Corps, Navy Marine Corps family, said, the IRS has been after her for allegedly not filing a Form 5500 in 2021. And the thing is, she did file the Form 5500, and she provided them with proof that she filed the Form 5500, whatever the hell that is, and says the IRS still trying to collect $22,000 in fines, just in fines, for not filing a form that was filed. And here we are in the middle of 2023, and the IRS is still harassing the hell out of her and demanding $22,000, and she doesn't get millions of dollars from Ukraine and China. So, Hunter Biden avoids taxes on millions and millions of dollars. No problem. Misdemeanor. Here's your get-out-of-jail-free card. It's your father's business card. It's good to be a Democrat, isn't it? Let's get back to the audio, shall we? Back to the audio actualities. They used to call them actualities in radio. And you may remember Joe Biden. Joe Biden in 2019 was asked by Peter Doocy, and only by Peter Doocy, hey, you ever talk to your son Hunter about his business dealings? And Joe Biden lied.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
Period. He always says period, unless there's an ellipsis in the teleprompter, and then he says period, 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 because that's how that goes. And that's a lie. And how do I know that's a lie? Well, I guess it's possible that Hunter was lying to Henry Zhao when he was texting him on July 30th of 2017, saying, sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled, the transfer of the money. And he says he's sitting there with his father, and his father wants to know. His father was vice president. He's the future president. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father, the former vice president of the United States. We're a powerful American political family. Chinese communist businessman.
That absolutely contradicts what President Biden has said on numerous occasions, that he knows nothing about his son Hunter Biden's business dealings.
I know nothing. He's Schultz. And Joe Biden lying about Hunter Biden's business dealings in September of 2019.
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Notice he answered very specifically because he just parroted the question back. I've never spoken to my sons about it. Really? So your son was lying to Henry Zhao that you were sitting right there? Interesting. Somebody's lying. Can't both be true. Here's Congressman Jason Smith yesterday at the press conference, which was held, detailing what the whistleblowers from the IRS have revealed.
The IRS recommended charges against Hunter Biden that included attempt to evade or defeat tax, a felony, fraud or false statement, a felony, and willful failure to file returns, supply information, or pay tax. These tax crimes cover an estimated $2.2 million in unreported tax on global income streams to Mr. Biden and his associates from Ukraine, Romania, and China, totaling $17.3 million from 2014 to 2019. Mr. Biden personally received $8.3 million.
$8.3 million, got $2.2 million, he said, in unreported tax. That's not income, but tax. And he ticks off the felonies, the to evade tax, to defeat tax. He named fraud, right? Felony, felony, felony. Money coming from Romania, money coming from China, communist China, and money coming from Ukraine, where, of course, we know that Joe Biden demanded that they fire the prosecutor that was investigating Burisma, while Burisma and the owner of Burisma were shoveling millions of dollars at the Biden family.
These tax crimes cover an estimated $2.2 million in unreported tax on global income streams to Mr. Biden and his associates from Ukraine, Romania, and China, totaling $17.3 million.
$17.3 million. And for what? What services were they providing? Were they sending blankets, antibiotical salve? What exactly were they selling? Because no one is aware of what business Hunter Biden is in.
Oh, I see nothing. I was not here. I did not even get up this morning.
So millions and millions of dollars, and we got 17.3 million being cited there. Romania, China, Ukraine, Joe Biden's involvement in Ukraine, bragging about getting the prosecutor fired, investigating Burisma sending millions to the Biden family. Why is there money coming from Romania? The guy that sent the millions from Romania has a shady background himself. And, of course, communist China is communist China. And the New York Times still can't find room on the front page for any of these stories. And CNN, and I'm telling you, NBC News, last night, they had their lead anchor on their network news broadcast basically attack Republicans in their telling of the story because it's good to be a Democrat, and there is no institution in the United States more corrupt than the American news media. Congressman James Comer now, from a different committee altogether, he was on the Fox News channel last night on Jesse Waters, and he described the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland, the Joe Biden Department of Justice, and what they didn't do.
The Justice Department simply has turned a blind eye to Hunter Biden. They were told to stand down. That's what our FBI whistleblower told us when we learned of the discovery of the 1023 form that alleged Joe Biden took a bribery from the most trusted, highest paid FBI informant. They were told to stand down. When we brought in the general counsel for the National Archives, when they were trying to write a story on their website about Joe Biden mishandling classified documents, they were told by the Department of Justice to stand down. And now what we've heard today with the IRS whistleblower, when they were looking at the obvious tax violations by the Biden family, they were told to stand down. So this is a pattern that the Department of Justice has interfered and given preferential treatment to the Biden criminal activities.
Took a bribery. I know you noticed it. Took a bribery. There's bribery, or he took a bribe, but not both. A minor slip in the scheme of things, and gave preferential treatment to the Biden family corruption. That is, that's what we're witnessing here. And if we had a news media that was all even-handed, there would be a feeding frenzy. The White House briefing would be a piranha tank every day. But, of course, that's not what's happening. Man, oh, Manischewitz. And wait till you hear what the news media has been doing with this, because, the corrupt Biden family and the corrupt Democrat Party and the corrupt Justice Department have a sincere friend in the American news media. And not just at NBC Fake News, but certainly at NBC Fake News. You know that you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air, eliminate odors, kill mold, mildew, bacteria, and viruses. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier uses Oxy technology. Oxy technology naturally sends out O3 molecules right into the air in your home, in your office, seeks out odors and air pollutants, and the molecules destroy them. It's amazing. It doesn't mask or cover up bad odors like a spray can. It eliminates them. It's called the Thunderstorm because it purifies the air in your house, your office, just like after a thunderstorm. Right now, you can save $200 American because you hang with me on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. Check them out online. You can hold one in your hand. It's only this big. It's not a big piece of furniture. you're going to get 3 units for under $200. That's a fraction of the cost compared with other air purifiers that can go for more than $600 each. So put one in your basement, in your bedroom, your family room, and your teenager's room, any place you'd like to have clean, fresh air. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com. Right there on Al Gore's amazing internet, put in the discount code Chris, that's me, and you're going to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris, and shipping is free. Yes, sir. Yeah, we've got more because it's not over. And the news media has already buried the story in a shallow grave. But I've got more of it for you coming up. Facts is facts.
Period. Period. Period.
Now, the fake journalists at MSDNC, an NBC News byproduct, they spent their time last night attacking the Hunter Biden story. Not on Hunter Biden, but anybody that would talk about Hunter Biden and the Biden family corruption, because MSNBC is a profoundly corrupt organization and not a news organization at all. And they got a bunch of people, hardcore lefties, all racists, anti-Americans, the usual mix of run-of-the-mill Democrats today.
They're vowing to get to the bottom of what they call Biden's sweetheart deal and their alleged idea that there's a two-tiered justice system.
What they call their alleged...
on a daily basis to make the point about their perceived grievance of a two-tiered justice system, that there's one for the elites and one for everybody else, that he's being treated differently because his name is Biden. There's no evidence of this being the case.
Two-tiered system of
no
justice.
Evidence.
What a bunch of BS.
That's an African-American woman talking to another African-American woman saying a two-tiered system of justice. What a bunch of BS. I've been told since I was 5 years old that based on race, there is a two-tiered system of justice. But they were sneering last night, 2 African-American women who doubtless went to Ivy League schools, that there is no such thing as a two-tiered system of justice now that the Democrat president finds himself in the trap. Right? Now there's no two-tiered system of justice. So they argue at MSDNC, the alleged two-tiered, what they call, there's no evidence. It's their grievance. This is their new, now they're obviously the party of grievance. And they're trying to label the Republican Party the party of grievance and Trump the grievance candidate while they apply their grievances daily.